Well, hello and welcome to the Tammy Hotson-Pillar podcast. I'm Tammy Hotson-Pillar, and we are here with Women of Influence in our office here in Anaheim Hills, California. I know you guys have followed me for some time, and you've been on the journey with me both through life coaching sessions and our Women of Influence conferences. There have been so many things that we have brought to you from our ministry here in Orange County, California. But I want to share with you guys a brand new ministry that we've started that truly is impacting lives all over Orange County, California. Let me give you a backstory of what's happening here. As you guys know, we have been the hands and the feet of Jesus here in Orange County with Women of Influence through Boys and Girls Club and various organizations, Teen Challenge, and a lot of ministries here in Orange County. We have supported and sponsored the Boys and Girls Club with bicycles and back-to-school drives and doing what I really believe that the Lord's called us to do, to be an expression of really the heart of Christ. But we've taken it to a whole nother level now. We've actually started an empowerment program where we're taking the women here locally in our ministry with Women of Influence, and we're giving them opportunities to empower the world around them. And I have to introduce someone to you. You all are seeing my daughter here, Jen Ramlett. It's so exciting to have her on staff now with us and Women of Influence to be the focal person and the point person for this new ministry with the empowerment program. So first of all, welcome, Jen.
Thank you.
I know that's been kind of a big introduction to this ministry, but I felt you guys needed to hear the heart of Jen and how God has really been preparing her for many years for this ministry. And it's a real joy for me to work with my daughter, but really to step back and watch her empower the women of Orange County, the women of influence, to really have strategic partnerships with so many organizations here in Orange County. So Jen, officially welcome.
Thank you.
And why don't you give us a little background of where you've come from and what you've done and who you are and why you're excited about the empowerment program.
Yes, I'm really excited about the empowerment program. You know, when I was in college at Azusa Pacific University, I partnered with a lot of nonprofits, one being an organization called Say Yes. And Say Yes was an after-school program. We would help do laundry and feed the kiddos and do homework classes and teach math and all sorts of things. And it was similar to a Boys and Girls Club. They were able to stay with us till about 9 p.m. And I did that every single night for about 2.5 years. And that's really where my passion for kids and for women really ignited. And so I then moved to Colorado, and over the past 10 years have been a part of various nonprofit organizations, been on the board at a few of them, primarily with the homeless population or the underserved population, as I like to call them. And the Lord has really ignited in me a passion and said, hey, Jen, I don't want you to just volunteer now. I really want you to go out and have this be your ministry. And so here we are. So we're very excited. And I think the biggest thing to know is that this is not just for women of Orange County. While the empowerment program is based out of Anaheim Hills and we are empowering our women, you can empower women and children every day too. There are so many amazing nonprofits all over the United States that need volunteers, that need people to love on one another. And we've just seen tremendous growth in people and women and children through these programs. So I just want to encourage you before we launch into what we're doing to don't forget, if you're not in Orange County or Los Angeles County or Southern California, you're still able to help, and you can do that. And it's much needed.
You know, we've started the empowerment program because we believe that we need to empower women to empower others. And sometimes, Jen, we just need kind of a strategic plan to do this. As you know, and we're meeting with so many women here, they want to do something, but they don't know how to do something. And our lives are just radically changed when we do something for others. So let's talk a little bit about how do we empower these women to actually do something? How do we help them know what to do?
Yeah, I think for us, I mean, what our model is that sometimes you want to volunteer, but it can be scary, right? Where do I start? Where do I go? I don't know anyone. I don't know if any of my girlfriends would go with me. And so it can be very intimidating. And so in your heart, you want to help and you want to do what the Lord has called us to do, which is take care of widows and orphans, but you're not sure where to even start. And that's where the empowerment program is really coming into play, is that we are creating opportunities for women to come and serve, and there's specific opportunities with women Women of Influence and the nonprofits that we're partnering with to go out and say, hey, there's going to be this event or this need on this day. Get some girlfriends together and we're all going to go together. And so you're not going alone. And I think that's part of empowerment, is empowering one another to push one another into an area that might feel uncomfortable. And you know what the most amazing thing is that even when you're uncomfortable, you walk away from these wonderful organizations feeling more fulfilled in your heart because of who these women are. These women are remarkable people. And honestly, I feel more ministered to than I think I'm even ministering, because these women and children, they just have wonderful hearts. And I think that it's so important to remember that we're not just going in to help them. They're also ministering to us.
Can you give us a couple examples, just even recently, without giving any specifics, but how you walked away changed and how you walked away blessed because you went to give, but you actually received?
Yeah, I know when I first went to Teen Challenge, we walked into the room and they asked me to speak for a few minutes, and I walked into the room and the Holy Spirit was so relevant there, and they were standing in their chapel room, and there was a large picture of Jesus, and they were just staring at him and worshiping and crying. And I've never in my life felt the Holy Spirit like I did that day. And I felt him many times in my life, weekly, daily even, but I've never felt the presence of the Holy Spirit there. And they are so hungry for the Lord, and they're so hungry for restoration. And it's amazing because you can look at a program like Teen Challenge maybe and say, okay, well, they're walking through certain addictions, but the truth of the matter is we all have addictions in our life, and we all have strongholds in our life, and every one of us are walking through it. And if we can approach Jesus and the Holy Spirit the way they were in our addictions or in our strongholds or in our marriages or our children or whatnot, I think that a lot of healing would begin in our lives as well.
Okay, that's too good to not expound upon. That's really good, Jen, because again, we have a need to serve, and so we go and we think we're going to help, but in reality, it's a mirror. It's a mirror into our soul. And maybe just share a little bit on that, how deep you want to go, either with even your own story in healing, but how honestly we all have addictions, and we all need inner healing. And can you talk on that a little bit? Because that was a really great statement you just made.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that I spoke on when we were at Teen Challenge, was my issues with my eating disorder, and being attracted to men that didn't treat me great, and that was an addiction. And that the root of that was I was so insecure with myself, and I did not like myself, that I resulted to other things. And every one of us can, if you look really deeply into your heart and you really ask the Holy Spirit to show you, you can figure out why you do the things you do or act the way you act, or why you've chosen the path you've chosen. And sometimes things happen to us too that aren't choices, but it's how we bounce back from them. And there are traumatic things that happen that are very hard to bounce back from. And I'm sensitive to that, and I understand that. But I think when you allow the Holy Spirit to come and really bring healing to your life, that we all need, whether you're in a program or you're not, that's where true healing is going to come.
Yeah, so good. So again, the empowerment program is to empower women, to empower others to be empowered, because we are empowered. So if you could just talk a little bit about maybe a couple of the different nonprofits that we're working with. I know you've been with Boys and Girls Club, and a little bit about Grandma's House and what we're doing there. I know we partnered with Olive Crest, and there are so many organizations here in our community asking us to come and help serve. But kind of it hit me when you were talking, most of us, whether it's a soul wound, a hurt, an experience, that might be where your personal desire is to serve, because your story is going to come out of your desire to serve others. Maybe address that a little bit. Like you might say, gosh, there's so many things you're doing. How do I know what to do? And it probably is a passion inside of you that's burning, that you want to minister in an area that you have been ministered to.
Yeah. And I think anytime that you want to go in and minister to someone, or you feel the Lord calling you, it's important to ask the Lord, is this the right place for me? It's important to really feel called into that, because if you're not, then you're not going to show up. You're going to bow out. You're going to say, oh, my kids have a soccer game or this or that. So you want to make sure there's a passion there. I have a passion for women because for so long I did not love myself. And so my passion is for other women to love themselves because I did not for so long. And so that's why for me, working with women is so important and impactful. And that's why I think Teen Challenge for me really hits home, just from some of the stories that the gals have shared with me. But for instance, Boys and Girls Club, we're going to do something called Life Hacks. And these kids are wonderful and amazing, but there are things that they just need help with. And we call it Life Hacks because we want it to be fun and we don't want to be put in a box. And so maybe it's going in and teaching them. One of our ideas that we're going to be doing is going in and teaching them how to cook without an oven. A lot of these kiddos, their parents work 1, 2, 3 jobs and they're not home for dinner. So how can we create menus that are cost effective for them to be able to cook and not have to use an oven? So if you love to cook or you love kiddos or you've created amazing menus for your kids at home that you can then share, I think that would be great. The second thing I would say is like for Grandma's House of Hope. One of the things that we're going to do is we're going to be building a garden and growing a garden and going in and showing them how to grow a garden. And there's so many lessons in a garden with weeds and taking care of a garden and watering a garden and allowing the sun to come. And just because the snow comes, that does not mean that the vegetables are dead. And so there's so many life applications that I think just 2 off the top of my head that we can use.
So good. Those are so good. And I know this is resonating with you and you're saying, I have a passion here, I have a passion there. Jen, I want to go a little deeper in our time together, and I want to talk a little bit about how do we start healing? Because somebody's watching right now who has maybe put on the mask, and it's so easy for all of us to put on a mask. You and I have had this discussion. I mean, we're blessed, we're Christians, we've come from good homes, and yet we have hurts, pains, soul wounds, disappointments. How did you move forward? How did you move out of some of your pain and hurt and come to the process of healing? And it is a process. It's what, we all talk. It's just that sanctification because we're daily being sanctified in the Lord. But do you want to share a little bit about how you went on the journey to find hope and healing personally?
Yeah, well, I think it comes with a lot of therapy. So I think the biggest thing is don't be afraid to go to a therapist. I always say my 3 best friends are therapists, and I think the Lord put them in my life for a reason. But it's important to go and speak to someone. Obviously, the Lord is our ultimate healer and counselor, but I think it's important to go. And I think the moment you speak out what happened or what you're walking through and you speak it out loud to the Lord and to a small group of people that you trust, I think that's when healing can first begin. Because until you speak it, it will never leave your heart. And I haven't thrown up in 15 years. Even through my pregnancy, I wouldn't allow myself, or 14 years, to throw up because I didn't want my mind to go there or my body to go there. But that doesn't mean that I don't struggle still. It is. It's picking up your cross daily and saying, Lord, you know my heart. You know this is a struggle. You know my wounds. You know my feelings. And also speaking against the enemy and saying, I'm not going to let you take me out today. And this is the way. Maybe every day write down 3 ways you want to heal today. Maybe even if it's just looking at yourself and saying, I think I'm beautiful, or just looking at yourself and saying, that happened to me, but it's not going to define me. Because I think when you speak life over your life, that you begin to process healing.
Wow. You're amazing. I'm so proud of my daughter. I just want to go on record as saying that because I love that you're speaking into and ministering to so many people. And it's hard. Let's get honest and real. That's really what we do here. It's obviously hard for a mom to feel that your kids have gone through things that either you didn't know about or you didn't know how to help them process. And that might be part of what we do in this ministry. You're going to walk into, whether it's a grandma's house or a teen challenge or Boys and Girls Club or a ministry through some of the prisons that we work in, and you want to fix people. And there were times in my life as a mom, I wanted to fix your pain, but I couldn't. I mean, there are things we can do and things we can't do, but walking alongside and knowing that you're supporting someone, but it doesn't mean that I didn't have my own pain. And I think, honestly, what we want to do here at Women of Influence is get honest. Get honest with each other, get honest with our pain, take off our mask, be real with who we are. So it's a process on both sides, friend. Listen to me. You're not going to fix people. You're going to serve and to minister, but you can only work on you. You can only go to Abba Father. You can only go to Jehovah Rapha. You can only go to God, our Creator, and work on you and take the steps. And Jen, what you just said was really just getting honest with yourself, having a strategic plan every day, not giving up hope. I know you told me the story of the stomp dance. I love that. And sometimes you just have to stomp the enemy out of your life. And will you take a moment, and I don't know how much you want to say, but in your own life, you do a stomp dance. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, anytime I feel an overpowering in my heart that's not edifying to the Lord or that's making me insecure, I just stomp and I just tell the enemy that he has no power over me, and that the Lord has given me the authority to stomp on him and to trample over him. And I think the other thing I just want to say, I know we're wrapping up, but it's important when you do speak your story and when you begin to find healing to be mindful of bitterness, because when you go through things, whether you go through things or you've put yourself in a situation where you've gone through something, it's easy to get bitter. And it's easy to get angry at certain situations that you've gone through. And it's important to remember that none of that is of love. None of that is of Jesus. And so it's okay at times to be angry, but not to live in a spirit of anger or a spirit of bitterness, to really walk in healing, because healing will not begin until the bitterness has subsided.
So just really quickly, how do you deal with that bitterness?
I think it's something you take daily to the Lord. And I think it's something that you have to remind yourself, because we live in such a world of like, well, I didn't get this, I didn't get that, to remind yourself of what you have. And I think the more you can begin to write down your gratitudes towards the Lord and how he's taking you out of those situations, bitterness will begin to subside.
Mm-hmm. That's really good. Well, now you know why I'm excited about our empowerment program. And, I've been able to watch my daughter over the last many years, whether it's working with the homeless in Denver or in LA or now here in Orange County. God has marked you and he's called you. And I know that you've had prophecies over you, and I know you're stepping into your calling, and we're obviously very proud of you. But I'm proud of you too. I'm proud of every one of you that are listening. I'm proud of every one of you that are watching us via video right now. And I want to call that out in you. I want to call out the woman of influence that you are. Mm-hmm. And you have a sphere of influence. You have a passion. You have a desire. God put that in your soul. There's a fire in you to do something to make a difference. We were called to make a difference. We were born to make a difference. And I will tell you, I am most fulfilled when I'm doing something for others. Mm-hmm. I've got to know what that is. And, many of you know me. You've been following me. I am by nature and calling and design a life coach. It's just who I am. I can't get away from it. I am the ultimate optimist. I'll tell you, there are many times that my daughter would call me and she would say, Mom, I need a mom right now, not a life coach. Didn't you?
Oh yeah, daily.
Because, I'm the ultimate optimist, but there are times where I have to step back and not try to be that and see the big picture, but I'm designed to be that. Let me ask you, what are you designed to be? Do you know who you are? Do you know your calling and what it is? It's right now it's stirring up in you. It may be your spiritual gift. It may be prayer. It may be mercy. It may be a life coach. It may be someone, when I talk about acts of service and kindness, God's called you to do something. So I want to invite you to be a part of this empowerment program. And we'd love to hear from you. We're going to throw this on social media. So I know a lot of you are who all over the world even, we have a following. Mm-hmm. And you may contact us and say, hey, I'm not in Orange County, as Jen just said. I'm not even in LA County, but how can I make a difference? We believe that this empowerment program is going to go beyond Orange County, LA County. So if you want to be a part of the empowerment program, reach out to us. There'll be some links here that we have on our social media feeds, on our website, and we want to partner with you in making a difference. So I hope this has been encouraging to you. I hope that you have watched a mother and daughter work together and put aside even any differences that we have and learn that God's called us both individually, independently, but both corporately to make a difference in both the lives of men, women, and children around the world. So thank you for this, Jen. I love you. I'm proud of you. Thank you, Women of Influence. We love to hear from you. Again, if you want to check us out, you can check us out at womenofinfluence.today. womenofinfluence.today. You can reach Jen at WOI.today if you want more information on our empowerment program. And we'd love to hear from you. I know many of you live stream us. You watch us on Facebook Live in our ministry. So check us out on all of our social media feeds, Instagram, Facebook. We love you guys and look forward to hearing from you. God bless. Have a great day.